Listen to that. That's the sound of power and the call of the open road. That's the sound of the newly designed 2019 Indian Chieftain Limited. Yeah, Indian. It's more than a bike. It's an experience and an American icon. The place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. The open road is calling. Answer the call. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
For your small business, ending the year the right way can set you up for success come January. No need to let end-of-year panic set in. Easy Books and Taxes can help set up your books or new payroll service so that you can relax and enjoy the holiday season. With 35 years, bookkeeping, individual, and business tax preparation, it's easy. With Easy Books and Taxes, you run the business, we keep the books. Call us today at 423-755-0821.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
Good morning, beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl, Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the street to City Hall. From City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department. From the valley low to the mountaintop, giving you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful people. It's another beautiful day here in the city of Chattanooga. Oh, man. And I'm so excited because it's another day that I don't get to be alone in the studio. I get to talk to somebody who's so much taller than me, but not just in height, but in spirit, in experience, and in wisdom. I have Miss Regina Kirk here, who's going to be on the air with me talking about basketball mentorship in the city of Chattanooga. But before we get started, I want to just say we're streaming live on Facebook. Don't forget to drop a comment, like the page. If you can, call in. 800-8949 is the call-in number if you want to chop it up with us, and I do encourage that. But she's here. And
Good morning.
Good morning. So, Miss Regina, you hit me up, and we've been talking and different things, and I saw that I was so excited when the Chattanooga Business Elite honored you on their page. Yes. I did not know that you are the all-time leading scorer for the Lady Mocks.
Yes.
I'm in the studio with a Chattanooga legend, y'all. Nobody has outscored her yet, and you've been holding that record since when?
88.
Oh, man, that's when I was born. You've been holding that record for 30 years.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Leading scorer and rebounder.
See, yes. I'm leaving out stats.
I have 17 individual records still standing at UTC.
Absolutely. Yes. Wow. Mm-hmm. So tell the people who you are. So your name is Regina Kirk, but give them some backstory about who you are, how you got into basketball, and you're not from Chattanooga, so how did you end up in Chattanooga?
My name is Regina Kirk, and I am a mentor/coach, and I ended up back in Chattanooga. Of course, I played basketball here 84 to 88, played overseas for 3 years. And then I moved back here in 2000 due to some personal reasons, domestic problems. And so then I was here. I'm a hairstylist here in the city also. And then I lost my mom last year, and I came back to Chattanooga, and it really made me step out into the deep with what my passion is, and that is basketball. So I started EK Elite Basketball. And I also started my foundation back in 2013, Regina Kirk Foundation. And like I told you earlier, we just want to try to teach kids life lessons through the game of basketball, because it's such a need out there, first of all, for the life lessons, and then second, for the fundamental and skill training and player development for basketball.
Absolutely. So what encouraged you? So as a kid, what interested you in basketball? How did you get into being a player? And what made you take it seriously?
Yeah. My mom was, single parent, working. And we all wanted to do something, was very active kids. We would go outside and play then. That's when we go outside and play, climb trees, hopscotch, whatever. And my mom tried to get us in as much activity as possible. And with me being in basketball, I saw that was what was best for me and that something I was good and had gifted and talented in. And so I remained in basketball and worked at it and developed good work ethics in the game of basketball and made it happen, made it pay for my education. And that's what I tell a lot of parents, basketball can pay for the kids' education. And as much as school costs, I'm sure some parents would be glad to know that, hey, my kid has a scholarship and can go to school for free. A free ride is nothing like a free ride to school. So I just actually fell in love with the game of basketball, I guess because I was so good at it and accomplished a lot in life with it.
And so when you, what was the experience like when you went overseas? How was that game? Is it different in America?
It was a little different, not much. And of course, they recruit the Americans over there because they feel like we're such better ball players. But I did run into some pretty good foreigners that were good ball players. But it was different, and I loved it. If I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't even came to the States. I would have remained over there and made a living over there because you would be surprised how many Americans are over there living, have married and have kids over there. I even ran into some homeboys over there. I was like, wow. So, it's like 2 to 3 Americans on the boys. So that's 5 Americans per team that's over there. So you can imagine how many Americans over there. And even some of the NBA and WNBA players are over there playing. But yeah, it was a great experience. I went, my favorite was Portugal. It was nice weather year round, and I just loved it. Those people loved me. Hey, I was like a queen over there for real. I know I'm a queen anyway, but for real, you get treated with royalty over there. You really did, yes. And I loved it. If I had it to do all over again, I would not come back to the United States of America.
So basketball not only can be a pathway to getting a proper education, a free ride to school, which is overly expensive, it's also a way for you to be able to have a passport to the other side of the world.
Absolutely.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to us. Hello? Well, you have to call back 800-8949 if you want to call back. But that's amazing. A lot of people, one of the things that I know is that besides education is very expensive, traveling can be expensive, especially when you're talking about out of the country. So being able to utilize your talent as a means of being able to go other places and meet different kinds of people. I'm sure that that's an experience that is indescribable in a lot of ways.
It really is. And like you said, it's expensive. And it was all paid for trips, all paid for expenses. I was able to save my money and send it back to the States. So there are plenty of opportunities out there for basketball players. It's not just about going out on the court and getting beat up. But like I tell the kids, I say, you look at my life and look at me, it's a win-win situation because it's health and wellness all the way around the board. You learn how to eat properly. So it's a lot of advantages in being a ball player. It really is. Absolutely.
What made you bridge mentorship with basketball? What was the thing that maybe you recognized besides the game that kids were missing?
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago, I started mentoring with Father to the Fatherless and was into the school system with them. And I was able to actually communicate with a lot of the kids and see some of their struggles. And a lot of the kids really, really, really like basketball, but they're never taught. And so bridging that gap with mentoring the kids, like I said, learning the life lessons and just actually being able to be involved with that kid and just actually know their struggle and try to help them along the way and be supportive to them and just encouraging to them was the biggest thing, because when you ask the kids what was the biggest need that they needed out of us, they would say support. So like you were saying earlier, support all the way around the board is important for the kids to have even the support from the parents to come watch them play and to encourage them. Hey, if that's what you like, I have your back. I'm behind you 100%. Go do it. Because we don't have that a lot, and the parents back when we were growing up and playing basketball, I know my mom knew that we were active in a lot of things. So she made sure that even though she worked, she made sure we got there. And that's a big problem with the kids is transportation and parents not providing a way. And if the parents would not be so prideful and not, communicate with people, then we could resolve that problem easy, but closed mouth can't get fed. And a lot of parents, I don't know what the problem is. That
Maybe
they don't,
embarrassed.
Yeah. But that's not a reason, because we have to stop letting things be about us and let it be about the kids. Because we do have like emotional things going on in our own lives, and it affects the kids a whole lot, because parents, they're just like focused on my issue, my problem, my feelings, and they're not into what the kids want to really do. And a lot of the kids are missing out on their calling.
So you have seen with working through the Father to the Fatherless, and shout out to Father to the Fatherless, which I've talked a lot about them on the show because I've been very unhappy with how the city of Chattanooga pulled the plug on funding for Father to the Fatherless, because they have, in my eyes, they have been extremely effective in the schools.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about this before we came on. Anybody who's listening, because I know some people are listening from the mayor's office and from city council, because I know they listen. Shame on you for cutting program and funding, because it's important when we recognize, because one of the things that you stated was that you had the opportunity to go into the schools, which is hard to get into schools, because I'm trying to get into schools so I can teach children rights, and it's crickets. Haven't heard anything. I haven't gotten anything back. To be able to have a program that was already existing, you can work with the people and then get into the schools, and then you immediately see needs.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
You talk to the kids, and then they can verbalize that they need support. Like, I can't imagine how it feels to have a program be pulled completely as far as like the funding that makes it accessible to children.
Absolutely.
And then you see what is already an existing need, right? Be widened.
Yes.
And like, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble or anything like, and I hope I'm not getting anybody in trouble, but to me, that makes me feel some type of way, to know that there are children out there who you see talent in, and you just said that there are kids with basically gifts who could, if they just had a mentor, if they had proper training, someone who understands the game, but at the same time can give them some life lessons along the way, some consistent discipline and support that they need, that they could be overly successful. And I firmly believe that success on the court would translate into the classroom.
Yes. I do too. Like I said, me being experiencing that myself, I know it will. And just from others speaking on basketball, how it did translate for them outside of the court. And that's why I say we teach life lessons on and off the court. I had kids last year that had discipline problems, and I'm sure that, no, they're not going to be 100% better, but we definitely addressed those issues. If it took the entire practice, we would stop basketball and address the issues with the attitudes or whatever, they had.
So when you created this foundation, the goal in mind was to be able to take this foundational work and to work with children to be able to get them to the next level of success, which is just beyond elementary or middle school or even high school. But if they choose to go to college, or if they choose to play overseas, that the options for them are endless.
Yes. And we would help them do that. We stay with them along the way. And like I said, last year, just starting my organization with the EK Elite, that was our main thing, is to give the kids exposure to the different things that's out there, the exposure to the coaches, the exposure to the colleges, and, just basically limited exposure, because you still meet people outside of basketball that may want you to do something else, or, you may be gifted and talented in something else. Because I'm a jack of a lot of trades. So I'm a hairstylist, I'm an official, I mentor, I coach. So I do a lot of things, and it's very, very broad with the game of basketball. And, basketball players, once you actually learn the game, you never lose it. I could go out on the court right now and play like I have never stopped. Or, once it's in you, it's in you. So it's the kind of thing like in muscle memory. In basketball, you develop that muscle memory, which it works on and off the court. And so I just encourage a lot of people to support kids. And no, it's not only about sports. I know a lot of people kind of try to get away from sports because that's all they think about is basketball, but that's not true. And like I said, it could teach you a lot more. And with the issues that I see with our kids in the city, in the inner city schools, basketball could help them, because it's been barrier breakers for Black people for a long, long time. So why are you trying to change it now?
But I think people who have criticisms of sports, and, you may not be into sports, and sports may not be your thing, and that's firmly okay. But that doesn't mean that we cut out all the other kids,
Absolutely.
Right? Who that may be their gift, right?
Yes.
Is to read, and that's a beautiful thing that I've noticed about sports, is that people can come in, all kinds of people, from Michael Jordan to Larry Bird to Allen Iverson to King James, to no matter what each one has a way of redefining the game to fit themselves, right? And to make the game their own. And they all have their own space to shine. And what if not only are we not supporting or promoting children to go to college or to go overseas, but we're legitimately stopping what could be an avenue for children to get in a game where they can redefine it. And if nothing else, like give their city, give their neighborhood, give their street where they come from pride. Like I'm sure this was long before James left Cleveland, but I'm sure when he was in Cleveland, the people loved him. He was a homie. And absolutely. So I think a lot of people have things to say about, I love my city.
Yeah.
I love Chattanooga. I love where I'm from.
I love my city too. I'm not from here, but I love my city. My city.
And oh man, that is a beautiful thing. One of the things that I know is that I've seen some very good coaches. Like when I went to East Ridge, we had a very good coach. She coached basketball and she coached volleyball. And Coach Neely. She was tough.
I remember Neely.
She was tough.
And that's another thing. Tough. Keyword, tough. These kids are not tough anymore. And if you try to discipline the kids, the parents are getting mad. And they don't want you to be that. Even the school systems don't want you to be that tough on the kids, but they got to realize there's a difference between being on the court and off the court. That's where you get your toughness. I know that if it wasn't for me having that toughness, that tough skin on the court, I feel like besides God just, getting me through, I just don't feel like I could have got through a lot of things, because being on the court and being tough make you persevere through all kind of things, hey, in life, like you were saying earlier, these kids are going to run into things in life outside of basketball.
Absolutely.
And they're not going to know how to have that tough skin. So we got to stop, raising powder puff kids and start giving them, the people the opportunity to make our kids tougher. It was something on Facebook where the guy had the little, the pad, and he was hitting his kid. And everybody was like, you think he should be doing that? Yeah. He's teaching him how to be tough through obstacles. Because like I said, on the court, off the court, same difference. Being tough is being tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that, and most people wouldn't understand it if they've never actually played a sport, playing a sport is not just dribbling a ball. Playing basketball is not just dribbling a ball up and down the court. It's legitimately decision making.
Yes.
It's trusting your teammates, right?
Team building and something
teamwork.
We don't even have as grown people.
Learning how to run a play.
Yeah.
It's practice, right? It's work. When you mess up, you're not listening. You run.
Yeah.
Coach Neely. Consequences for your choices if you showed up late. Now, that's one thing I loved about Coach Neely. You couldn't show up late. You would have to run.
That's right.
If you missed a play intentionally because you weren't listening or
not being focused,
you would have to run. Up, downs. Like, tough. Yeah, and of course, at the time, you hated it.
Yeah.
But part of that was understanding that you have a choice in everything you do. And then it's not just you. The choices that you make affect the team.
That's right. So it's everything is a team effort and unity and all that stuff, like you said. And that's a thing, like I said, me seeing, doing what I'm doing and just seeing how people are, the unity, the teamwork, none of that is there doing the things we're doing in the community. So that's the thing that I focus on too with the kids, because we have to see that from the adults so that it can go from the head down, and don't just expect the kids to do it when we don't do it.
The microphone is probably going to melt today. But we got to be tough because children don't wake up being who they are. They are molded by people. And if the parents don't do it, I talked to a young lady yesterday. If the parents don't do it, they're going to learn everything else from their friends and they don't know enough.
That's right.
Stay tuned. We're going to be back for the second half of the segment. I got the legend in basketball here, Regina Kirk, talking to me today about basketball with mentorship. Oh, man, you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
A Chattanooga paramedic is accused of harming patients and bragging about it on social media. Tennessean reports Gordon Stokes from Chattanooga is accused of posting on Facebook that he partially drilled into a patient's bone without anesthesia. Reports add that the patient he's accused of harming was suffering from an opioid overdose. An electrical contractor was killed when he reportedly stumbled and fell backwards off a 6-story building's roof. It happened at the Mary Wilson Hall at Tennessee State University. The victim's been identified as Richard Bray. And a young girl was killed and an adult wounded in a Clay County shooting. The TBI confirming the girl just 11 years old. The TBI arrested a suspect, Jacob Snyder, charged with first-degree murder. He was booked into the Clay County Jail on $2 million bond following a short manhunt. Clay County schools were on lockdown during the search. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Freedom Road, Chattanooga.
Even if you like your job, there are some things that can drive you nuts. Like the anonymous coward who steals your lunch from the break room fridge. Or maybe Tyler, the IT guy, who gives you that condescending look when you tell him that your computer is acting up again, as if somehow it's your fault. You put up with these clowns every single day. But what happens when you've had enough? That's the day you decide to retire. At least that's the hope, right? But will you be able to retire? Can you afford to retire? That's why you need to talk to Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial. They can't do anything about Cody, that moron who heats up fish in the microwave, but they can strategize with you on how to get the most out of your 401k or pension, how to grow your money without losing your shirt in the market, and how to help make your money last in retirement. Talk to Ron and Christy today about whether you'll be ready to retire when you finally had it with seeing Ethan walk out of the bathroom again without washing his hands. Gross. Call Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial, 423-710-2009. 423-710-2009.
I'm Bo Watson, and I approve this ad.
This is Tennessee Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally asking you to vote for Bo Watson for state senate. Tennessee's economy is roaring. Taxes are low, and more Tennesseans have a job than ever before. This success has a lot to do with Bo Watson. As a leader in the Senate, Bo works hard, so our budgets are balanced and our schools keep improving. We're on the right track in Tennessee, but there's more work to do.
Paid for by friends of Bo Watson, Boy W. Watson III, Treasurer, BoForTennessee.com.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga roofing contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11, right here on Nooga Radio.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of sunshine and great looking weather out there for your afternoon. Highs 70 to 72. Tonight, a little milder, lows 50 to 54. For Wednesday, some clouds, breezy, warm again. Highs back into the 70s. Still mainly dry through Halloween with showers and storms marching in Thursday morning. Looking to buy or sell a home? Real Living Southern Realty provides real answers and customized marketing solutions. Serving the entire tri-state area, check rlsouthernrealty.com for their complete listings. And I'm Source Gene Walls, Chief Meteorologist at your 4.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
What's going on? What's going on? Good people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. We're talking about basketball, but not just basketball. We're talking about mentorship. And I have all-time leading scorer and rebounder for the Lady Mott, Miss Regina Kirk, here in the studio with me. And I'm so glad she decided to come on and be on the show because my show is all about talking about what's going on in the city of Chattanooga. And I know sometimes I hit some hard-hitting issues, but I like talking about good things too, because there's some good things happening in the city of Chattanooga. It's some people out here that are desperately trying to work and get needs met in the city of Chattanooga. And I don't think sometimes people understand how hard it is to do this work. No matter if you are helping elderly, you're helping the middle-aged folks, single parents, children, it's difficult. But there are people who have the desire to pour themselves into others. And to me, it's double special when you want to do that to the children. You want to do that for the kids. Yes. Because our children, if we can't just say that children are the future, we have to practice what we preach.
That's right. And
we were just talking about it at the break. Sports now is very competitive. I can't imagine how a parent would expect their child to be able to even get to a free ride at college without them being developed.
It is impossible.
Is it impossible? Say it, because maybe people maybe parents out there think that they're good enough to coach their children so one-on-one without ever putting them through camps, without working with other coaches.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
Are we just gonna be real?
Yes.
Okay, let's be real then.
Well, we were also addressing the issue with the parents wanting to be the coach from the stand. Parents, I know we're on a radio show and I cannot go into that. So
you can do anything you want besides curse. Go in, because
we need to hear the truth. We can't correct if we don't hear the truth. Go ahead.
Parents, your job is only to cheer the kids on and give them encouragement from the stands. It's not to tell them where to go on the floor, how many times to shoot, and nothing what to do. They have a coach over there. And unfortunately, I know some of the coaches are not really trained or have the adequate skills to be a coach. But still, if you want to discuss something with your kid, do it after the game and at home, not during the game, because it confuses the kids. And we wonder why our kids so confused, because they got somebody hollering from the bench and the coach has just called a timeout and gave a play. And now that they've gone back out on the court, now the parents is giving them another play. Now, you know, that's confusing yourself. So you can't expect these kids to be out there playing and all this stuff going on in their head, and plus the noise in the gym. Now, after so long of playing the game of basketball, they will learn to focus only on what's going on in the court and block everything else out like I did. People used to ask me, did you see me? Did you hear me? No, I didn't, because I was focused on my game. So we have to realize that we have to give our kids that chance to be focused and think about what they're doing and not give them a whole bunch of things to think about, because me as a parent want to coach from the stands and they already have a coach. And like I said, get them the training that they need, because once they're with that coach and they don't know enough, the coach is going to try to tell them. But if they go into their season already knowing, then the coach don't have any other choice but to know that kid already know and, have been starting to develop. So get your kids the help. I'm a trainer. We have plenty of trainers out there. If you even need one and don't have one, you can ask me. If I can't do it, I can point you in a direction. I know plenty of trainers. I know LaCondra Mason. She's a great trainer for girls. And the help is out there. Trust me. And you got to invest in your kids. I don't get it. We don't want to pay to help our kids get better. How is that possible? But we can go buy them Jordans for $200 and something in the mall, and you don't want to pay $30 or $40 to get them trained. My cost is below level. So, guys, we have got to get these kids trained. And like we said, basketball teaches them more than just things on the court. Once they learn that discipline, that respect, just the fundamentals alone will teach them how to just be that person that want to learn, be focused. Our kids are not focused. I had a problem with our kids last year not being focused. And I hope people are listening, because we need to relay the message that these kids are not focused. So that means y'all need to work on that at home.
But this is what people need to hear, right? Number one, your children should be. Now, I can't say this for all parents, because maybe some parents don't believe this, but your children should be your greatest investment. And the greatest investment should not be what they wear. It should be what's on the inside, as intellect.
Amen.
As discipline.
Yes.
As respect. As decision-making, critical thinking. These are the skills. These are those invaluable skills. And I'm telling you, Miss Regina, I have seen, because I'm 30. I'm not older. You probably consider me a baby, and that's okay.
You are.
But I've lived just a little while, and coming from corporate America, I have seen people not be able to have just some of these skills that I would consider basic, like basic skills of decency, respect, critical thinking. And they get in real life and they flip out. They end up losing their job, or they end up doing something stupid, or can't maintain.
Yeah.
But because you start talking to them, and it's easy to see that a lot of them have tough relationships with their parents.
Yes.
And look, this is not a slap. This is not a slap on parents, but at the same time, this is an expectation. And it's my firm. Now, this is my opinion, and I'll say it just as that. It's my firm opinion. You're going to pay up front, or you're going to pay later. You're going to pay now, or you're going to pay later.
That's right.
Right? Either you're going to discipline your children now, you're going to invest in them now, or the investment is going to be calling them collect.
Can you
putting money on
my books?
Putting money on their books, Or the worst alternative, burying them because they get out in this world and get in trouble. They get around the wrong people. Because I'm telling you, if kids don't get what they need at home, if they don't have the support that they need in the community, they're going to find somebody to give it to them.
Yes.
And it's 9 times out of 10 because kids just don't know enough. They're going to find all of the wrong people.
That's right.
The wrong people to get around.
Yes. And that's why, like I said, I started my EK Elite organization, and that's to give the kids a safe environment and to be around good people and to learn something positive, because that is what's happening. Our kids are getting out here and they're with the idle time because our parents are not there at home, and they don't have any supervision. And that's why I said, I know that it's hard on parents, but if you communicate with other people that's in the organization that you're putting your kid in, I think things will work out. But you have to ask, and you have to open your mouth, and you have to, inquire about things and try to get it situated with the kids. Because a lot of kids, we'd be surprised how many kids at home by themselves. Yeah. So, and if you're not in basketball practice as opposed to being home by yourself, that don't make sense to leave a kid by themselves when they could be in another environment doing something positive.
Absolutely. And one of the things that that was important, at least with like Coach Neely, was that she would go to classrooms. And so she would check on grades.
Oh, yeah.
She would just pop in and see how you're behaving. She came in and caught you slipping. She would bench you.
Yeah.
She would bench you.
Yeah.
But
now
that
these
was
days you do that, the parents gonna come cuss you out. Why my baby ain't playing? Well, she did this in class. And parents have to be more understanding that we have the kids' best interest, and we will never, ever do anything to hurt these kids. All we want to do is just help them. And a lot of parents get it twisted. And then they want to go off the deep end about nothing. That happened with me, with my organization. I mean, I had people just not really understanding. And that's what, that's the whole thing. These parents are young and not really well educated. And I mean, and I'm not saying they're dummies or nothing like that, but in the area of what your kid is doing, try to get more educated. There's too much stuff out there that you can Google, that you can YouTube, whatever, but try to get a little background about it before you start going off on coaches and
or just sit down and talk to a coach.
Yeah,
and say, Coach, I might have a problem with this.
Right.
And they can explain, well, usually you for example, Miss Kirk, I fully understand what you're saying. But on that same note, what is your desire for your daughter? You want her to play at UTC, or you want her to play at Duke, or you want her to play in college, right? Or to make it to the WNBA, right? That's what you want. Well, she's not going to get there if her attitude, she's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because no matter how talented you are, you still got to be able to be respectful, listen, and work with other people, which is a basic life skill. You have to be able to work with other people.
Yes.
And there I have seen, this is bigger than basketball, but I have just seen people who their attitude, they're bright, they're talented, but their mouth, their attitude cuts them out of so many opportunities. And you can only imagine if they had somebody when they were smaller, when they were a teenager or younger, and just pulled them to the side and say, hey, you can't do that. You can't talk like that. You need to think about what you're saying.
Yes.
If they had somebody to just pull them to the side, and that's so.
And you have to know too that when your kid is being scouted for a scholarship, the coaches also look at family. So if you up there in the stands cutting up and talking crazy, guess what? That's a big strike against your kid getting that scholarship. So like I said, it's a lot that the parents need to educate themselves about and know. And that's one thing that I look to do in the future too, is hold educational seminars for parents that do have student athletes so that they will know, because hey, it's out there. It paid for my college at UTC. So hey, and I wasn't even gonna go to school, but I got a free ride. So I'm gonna take it.
But that's an honest statement. You weren't even considering going to college.
That's right.
But because you were developed right?
Yes.
Because you had a mother who was supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of her being a single
Yes.
parent, she made sure, if nothing else, you got the practice.
Yes.
That you showed up, that you were there.
Mm-hmm. She did. And my mom also was my biggest supporter. Even when I went to UTC, she was my biggest supporter. So she supported me pretty much throughout, even with her work. And that's why I said, I know the parents can do it. I know they can.
It's hard, but you can do
hard, it. But it's
doable.
With God, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And if you love your kids, you should be like, well, my mama would tell me, but my children, I walk stubby-toed in the snow to make sure my babies are taken care of.
Yeah.
And I had a mother that she wasn't a single parent, but she just worked hard.
Yeah.
Worked sometimes 60 hours a week, but would make sure, because I was in band and I was in choir, make sure I was at practice.
We was in 5 different things, and guess what? We made it there. We used to, I'm tell y'all, this is funny. We used to clog. I used to do baton twirling.
Clog?
Yes. And we was there on time with our tap shoes and dancing.
Clog shoes? That is hilarious.
But we did so much, and that's why I say I know it's doable.
Mm-hmm.
I know it is. And parents have to be those parents that step up and tell and say, what's the problem? Tell the coach in the beginning, I have a problem with transportation. I have a problem with this, whatever, so you guys can work it out in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Not just wait to that last minute or afterwards and they say, well, what happened or what's going on? Oh, I can't get her there and, I have to work. Those things are understandable, but they can be worked out.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, the person that loses out the most is the child.
Kids.
The child.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing to keep in mind is that the children are the ones that suffer the most. And I hope it is the desire not only of just every parent, regardless of whether you have children or not. I hope you want the children on your street. I hope you want the children in your community, the children in your neighborhood. I hope you want them to be successful too. Because the more successful children that we have, the less likely that those same children are going to come back later and rob you. I'm being extremely real.
Right.
The more successful children that we have,
That's
the
right.
better the community is.
Yeah, because you teach them that respect and the morals, because that's another thing, we don't have morals anymore. They don't care. And you're right. They do teach them that, and they will be the ones that come back and rob you.
They'll be and you'll be able to easily identify them because I'm telling you, look.
That was that little kid that stayed next. That was right down the street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on. I want the trajectory, not only of community of our community of the inner city, but I really want, for those who are listening, for some of you out there, I want the trajectory of your lineage, the trajectory of your family to be completely different, to be better than it ever was before.
Yeah.
That should be the desire of every parent, is that you want your children to have more opportunity.
That's right.
To have more doors open for them.
Mm-hmm.
And what that takes, now that is an honest desire, but that comes with a cost, right? That comes, it requires a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a sacrifice. Well, I know you want them Jordans, but I got to pay this school fee so you'll have the equipment that you need to play basketball.
That's right.
And so for now, all you get is the plain white Nikes. But it's going to, when you get to school and you playing for absolutely free and you get your free education, you can buy all the Jordans you want when you get a good job, or or what if you go to the NBA? You can buy all the shoes. You can buy all the
shoes you want and some.
And some. So that sacrifice now it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Now, of course, for the kids, they don't see it until much later.
Yeah.
I've learned to really appreciate all of the things that people invested in me, like at this stage in life. Back then, it was tough. I thought people hated my guts because there were so many people who were just like my grandmothers. It was tough love. It wasn't beating me up or anything, but it's just they had great expectations of me, and they wouldn't let an opportunity pass to where they could invest something in me. And the reality is that there are a lot of children out there, if all they're growing up is in a single parent home, they're not getting as much of an investment as a kid that's coming from a 2-parent household. I was blessed,
right?
Because not only did I have both of my parents in the home, but I also had an opportunity to spend a lot of time around my grandmothers. And so they're just invaluable things that I learned from several generations of people. And if there are children who are coming up in households where they're raising themselves, or the parents is working, or they may not have anybody really looking after them, they're missing out on some investments from people who have just lived life longer than them, that know more than them, that can be able to pour into them. And all of the things that they learn as a child really is going to be necessary, not really right then, but later when we set them free out into this world and tell them to survive and make it. Right? Yeah. How do you do that without the skills? Right. So I want to close out with a question. Like, how can the community, what can a community do to help you in your organization and your foundation? What do you need from the community to help make you successful?
Well, I really wish that I could get into the school system. Okay. And that is not to teach, but to just get in there and introduce myself in the game of basketball and what I do and what I can do for those that are interested. I mean, I'm not trying to make nothing hard for nobody. I just would like for our kids to have that opportunity. And I also would like for the communities or anybody that's listening, if you know a kid that's interested in basketball, if you guys go to the middle school game, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just go watch our kids play. Just go to one game, and then y'all let me know what y'all think. Our kids are too talented to be just pushed by the wayside because they did not get any player development in the game of basketball. And I know they're talented. I can see it in them. But it's hard for me to just grab every kid and give them what they need. And help from the community or anybody, any other organizations, any former ball players, anything to help push these kids to where they need to be would be a great help.
How can people reach out to you? I'm
on Facebook, Regina Kirk, and my EK Lead is also on Facebook. And my phone number, 423-320-8699, or you can go to my reginakirkfoundation.org website. So I am on Facebook, and I would like to give a quick shout out to Vatrice. She's a phenomenal person. I met her a short while ago, but anyway, they have a Pay It Forward in the name of fashion. That'll be December the 1st. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, but it's on her Facebook page anyway. And the tickets will go on sale at noon tomorrow. And you can also find information on ebright.com. It's hosted by Ray Harper of Ombre Ray Hair Company and debut of from Regina James. She has a new private label and a new collection for the holiday season. So they're still looking for sponsorship for this event. So if you're interested, like I said, Patrice Conley is her name. And you also can see information, I think, on my page because I'm going to be honored as the recipient of the page.
All right. See you guys back tomorrow.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A Chattanooga paramedic is accused of harming patients and bragging about it on social media. Tennessean reports Gordon Strokes from Chattanooga is accused of posting on Facebook that he partially drilled into a patient's bone without anesthesia. Reports add that the patient he's accused of harming was suffering from an opioid overdose. An electrical contractor was killed when he reportedly stumbled and fell backwards off a 6-story building's roof. It happened at the Mary Wilson Hall at Tennessee State University. The victim's been identified as Richard Bray. And a young girl was killed and an adult wounded in a Clay County shooting. The TBI confirming the girl just 11 years old. The TBI arrested a suspect, Jacob Snyder, charged with first-degree murder. He was booked into the Clay County Jail on $2 million bond following a short manhunt. Clay County schools were on lockdown during the search. Val St. John for Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Got lots of sunshine and great looking weather out there for your afternoon. Highs 70 to 72. Tonight, a little milder, lows 50 to 54. For Wednesday, some clouds, breezy, warm again. Highs back into the 70s. Still mainly dry through Halloween with showers and storms marching in Thursday morning. Looking to buy or sell a home? Real Living Southern Realty provides real answers and customized marketing solutions. Serving the entire Tri-State